Black people sold black people, white people just paid for it. My great-great-grandmother was sold by her father to another black man, who then sold her to who became her husband and had kids. Not a white person in sight. Well, so while people are being stuck on, especially when I hear this dumb thing as reparations for slavery, I'm like, dude, slavery was everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
There was slavery in the Arab world, in the Persian world, in the Greek world, in Europe. White, blonde, blue-eyed Polish people were slaves to Germans. So white, blonde, blue-eyed Germans. So what are you talking about? Like slavery is something that only black... You guys play too much respect to racism.
Yeah.
As long as you're a competition, you're a threat. And as long as you're a threat, somebody will try to do something to remove you. It doesn't matter if you're white or black. And on the opposite side, as long as you can add value, doesn't matter if you're black or if you're white, you will be appreciated or recognized.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and I think I did a video talking about, yes, black people own slaves. So I guess this is going to be part 2. I actually meant to conflate these 2 episodes together because they ran parallel. This jackass from, I'm assuming, some part of Africa right now. This is the problem that I got with people from the motherland. They're uninformed. Their history books don't cover enough ground, and they missed the mark on the point that black people in America are trying to talk about, right? We know slavery existed in the world. We know the Persians, the Arabs, Slavic people were enslaved, Europeans enslaved. The list goes on. We know this. We're not stupid. They teach us in our colleges, right? Most black people know this, right? This isn't like a hidden thing. However, Africans and Caribbeans, namely Africans, I won't even delegate it to Caribbeans because they were part of slavery that led up into the modern world. That's why it's so distinct, because while you can talk about Greeks being enslaved or Germans or Arabs or Persians, that was like thousands of years ago, hundreds of centuries of years ago, right? Or centuries ago, or hundreds of years, hundreds of centuries, right? It's a little different when shit lasts or ended 200 years ago. Not only that, if we want to conflate like Reconstruction, literally about 135 years ago, what the fuck are we saying? Not even that, right? It bled over into what was called Jim Crow. So then we had to deal with that. So it's not like it ended and then there was like centuries of peace and civility, right? It was a lot of inhumane treatment even after said slavery, right? That's what we gripe about, right? Because you still had gerrymandering, you had segregation, you had Jim Crow laws, you had black laws, black code laws, you had redlining, you had mistreatment, you had record labels stealing from black people. He liked to mention as long as you have value. Well, in America, black folks had value to the music industry and they were stolen from, whether their rights, their royalties, their publishing, or just flat out the money that was owed to them. Subsequently, their generation was born into poverty. I don't understand how you make #1 records, sell millions of records 1920, 1950, and fast forward to 1990 or 2000, your descendants ain't got a nickel to their name because of thievery and treachery by the other side. So this is why I really hate when people that aren't black Americans like to speak out against what our grievance is when we mention slavery. And once again, it's all within context. It's not like black people just going around saying slavery happened. No, there's a context to it, right? There's a context in everything. When you're hungry, there's a context to why you say you're hungry to whoever you say it to. You can say it to your friend, your mother, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. When you mention that you're hungry, there's a context to it. Like, I didn't eat breakfast, that's why I'm hungry. Or I didn't have any food at the crib, that's why I'm hungry. See, everything has a context and is prefaced by something. This jackass doesn't understand the context of how black people speak about slavery when they do speak about slavery and speak about reparations. We speak about reparations because it was actually a debt that was owed. Slavery was allowed. It was legalized, North and South. I think slavery ended in the North in 1831. It's ended 34 years in the South because of the Civil War. What I'm saying is when they released black people into quote unquote freedom, they had generations that hadn't been allotted any of the wealth that was generated from their family and other people that were enslaved. So you release people into freedom with a deficit of zero. That's not fair. That's not right. And a lot of white people benefited off of slavery. A lot of people during segregation was offered the Homestead Act. Hell, up until the 1940s, the GI Bill that black soldiers couldn't even get. So there was just things that they were able to get, like the GI Bill, where they were able to go to school, or the Homestead Act, where they were able to get housing, purchase a house, leave it in the family, generate money that way. A lot of black people don't have that luxury. Namely, when you see most black people with a house, it's probably like one or two generations that have bought the house out of blood, sweat, and tears. So yeah, I really wish people, namely from Africa, would just shut the hell up. Stop talking about slavery and the context of how we speak about it. Don't worry about how we speak about it. Mind your business. Going on these podcasts is trying to rail against us like you got a personal vendetta against us is pointless. It's not going to help you. It doesn't make you look good. And if anything, it actually makes you look stupider than you already are. You might want to take that in consideration. In any event, I hope that was clear. I know a lot of Mayo people are going to hate this damn video, and a lot of tethers are going to be mad because of it. And I could care less. If you didn't understand my messaging, the context of how I was explaining it, and why we say what we say, and how we refer to slavery in any context, I don't know what the hell. I don't know what to tell you. Go read a fucking book. In any event, I'm out. No.